Hello everyone, Luke the Apostate here. You'll notice that I look different. That's thanks to my friend Denver. I'm going to put a link to her page down below. I'm also using this new look to kick off a new series. I'm calling it The Christian Experience. And I'm talking about the Christian experience from the perspective of someone who is an atheist with a master's degree in theological studies who has been through therapy, which will give me a rather different conclusion about what the Christian experience is like than someone who is still a Christian, maybe hasn't got a degree, and hasn't gone through therapy. Let me give you the pitch here. Silence is the primary tool of the abuser, which is why I talk about it. I grew up in a household that was both fundamentalist Christian and deeply abusive. I grew up laughing at the idea that I was abused. The term abuse was for people who suffered far worse things than the minor foibles I thought I had gone through. I did not realize that I was in the group people who were abused until someone described to me in concrete terms what abuse looked like and how abusers acted. I was told as a child that I was loved by my parents and by my God, and I was told that the things I experienced were an expression of that love. So, how could it possibly be abuse? That's ridiculous. I am not making this series in order to convince Christians that they should abandon their faith. The reason I am recording this new series is because I believe, from both a theoretical and a practical perspective, that many Christians are experiencing things in the church that are traumatic to them. And that trauma is causing pain, unnecessary pain. And that if they understand that their experiences are unhealthy, they may be able to pursue their lives with more health and more joy, happiness, satisfaction, with less anxiety and depression. I do not think that all Christians are experiencing trauma in their churches, and I do not think that all Christians are traumatizing other Christians, or certainly not all the time. So, I'm going to give you 6 points that sort of outline where I'm coming from and where I plan to go, and then we'll call it a day and we'll go to the next video and really kick things off. So, my own context. I experienced abuse as a child and fundamentalist Christianity at the same time. I admit that I may have some problem distinguishing between the abuse I suffered and the experience of the church, where they don't necessarily overlap for other people. But I also think because I have a master's degree in theology from a reasonably mainstream, reasonably significant theological seminary, I believe I can accurately describe those parts of Christianity which are prone to causing trauma for Christians. So I admit that I may blur some lines between abuse as abuse and Christianity as Christianity, but I also think that I have some lenses to view the both of them, having gone through both seminary and therapy, that other people may not have. Because of that, I admit that I see very little difference between what I consider the fictional character of the God of the Bible and the various Christianities of the world, and the description of an abusive parent. Because, of course, God is always described as a parent towards humans. The abusive parent descriptions in, say, for example, self-help books, there's a great deal of overlap. So, my goal in this series is to describe as thoroughly as possible, as clearly as possible, what constitutes abuse, what constitutes abusive behavior, what constitutes the dysfunctional feelings, thoughts, attitudes, emotional states, the anxieties that come as a result of emotional trauma. So my framework is that there is a fictional God that is used by Christianities, we'll call them organizations, that push doctrines which trap, recruit, and traumatize people. So you've got the fictional God, you've got the organizations, you've got the doctrines, and you've got the people. My experience is that many or most Christians are kind, empathetic, loving, caring people who seek to do good to others, who want to live a good life and want to help others to live their best life. And these Christians sometimes feel obligated to act according to the doctrines of their churches that demand traumatizing behavior. So, the Christian experience I'm going to be talking about is about how a Christian in a church hears things about God who they are told that they are in a relationship with, and they're given doctrines, and how that God and those doctrines cause trauma just as real as trauma experienced in an abusive childhood home or in a relationship with an abusive person. So with that said, I will get started on the next video, and I hope to see you soon. Once again, thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you feel it's appropriate, and I will see you next time. And in the meantime, please be kind to one another.